Okay, hi everyone. So let's begin with a show of hands. Can everyone please raise their hand? Okay, we've got about maybe 70% participation. I know my talks can be pretty boring, so I just want to say it's understandable. I understand. Well, it's kind of weird because, why aren't you guys paying attention? Just look at the title, Driving Forces for Collaborative Innovation. Tentative title. Brilliant, isn't it? Thanks, Martin. So Martin made it up for me. So what happened was I was interviewed by Martin, a couple of months ago, and I talked about my experiences, my history, and then he did the same for the other speakers as well, and then a couple of weeks later, we got an email, and boom, there I go. I'm talking about driving forces for collaborative innovation, and I was like, I called up Martin. I'm like, hey, Martin, oh, great, thanks for the title. Everything is good. Just one slight problem. So what are the driving forces for collaborative innovation? Am I supposed to know that? And he was like, yeah. You talked about your experiences. What drove you to do the things you did, and I'm like, oh, okay. So a more truthful title is actually Nicholas Wang is the driving forces for collaborative innovations with the people around me. Much less impressive, so the other one is better. So let's begin. Let's begin with another definition. What is innovation, right? Innovation is the solutions that meet new needs as defined so definitively on the Wikipedia, until someone changes it again. And my stories always begin with Lego Kuso. So Lego Kuso is basically a website where Lego fans can have a chance to get their creations made by Lego into an official product. Brilliant idea. And the first successful example was a Japanese product because Kuso is a Japanese company. And this was a Japanese submarine that was successfully made into an official Lego product. So I joined the company, and one slight problem, right? It's taking a little bit too long for the users to generate 1,000 supports. And we were wondering, why? How do we engage the users? And to me, that was a mystery in itself, because this is Lego we're talking about, right? This thing should just explode by itself? I shouldn't need to do anything. But coming from a U.S. internet technology background, I looked at the website, and I was, okay, it's a little bit cluttered. And okay, it's a little bit slow. So I did my evaluation, and I proposed something that any company owners love to hear, which is, let's throw away everything that you've done and start over. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, everybody loves hearing that. And Kohei was like, oh, okay, yeah. Or would you like to change the company name at the same time? Huh? No. So actually, what I was proposing was a little bit different. So it took a little bit of time to explain. I was coming from a US sort of agile development, and I was trying to do sort of lean startup, minimal viable product, basically starting something really small and simple for the US market. So eventually I got through, and this was the result. Much cleaner, much faster on the cloud, and within 5 months of beta launching, we've got our first successful product getting 10,000 votes. It's the Minecraft Lego. This was back in March when I went to South by Southwest and met up with the guys from Lego and saw the real product for the first time. And it was widely reported on all the major blogs and media. And this was the reaction of the team inside of Lego. They were sitting in front of the computer clicking refresh until it hit 10,000, and they go, ah! It's like they just invaded England again or something. In a way they did, actually. But actually, I want to point you to something that I like. This is my favorite project. It's Shaun of the Dead, right? Who knows Shaun of the Dead? Yeah, you guys got to watch it. So I believe this was actually the second successful product from Lego Kuso, 10,000 votes. And so what happened was But just look at that. Just look at them go clubbing the zombie minifigure. I love it. It's beautiful. So what happened was Simon Pegg, the actor, actually went on national television on Conan O'Brien and talked about it. And so I blogged about this at the Storyfy, and I documented how fast it reached 10,000 people within a couple of days, just by getting on TV. Unfortunately, that wasn't made because of Lego's policy against violence, which I don't understand because violence against zombies doesn't count as violence to me. So at this point in time, if you ask me, so what have I learned about collaborative innovations? I would say, that's easy. Just provide the tools. You've got a whole internet out there of people, and loosen up a little bit. It's innovations. You gotta give some of the control back to the people. And so I'm going back to the zombies minifig. Come on, Lego, make the zombies minifig. Now, my real story, the thing that I'm most passionate about in my history is Open Hippo. So the reason why I joined Kuso was I met Kohei, so he's a keynote speaker here today. You will want to stay and listen to Kohei's speech. So my talk is just, if you're hungry, you may leave and get some food. You're not going to miss a lot, but please do stay and listen to Kohei. So I first met him in 2007 in New York, and he was on stage talking about his idea of Kuso, where anyone can create that perfect product for 1,000 people. And to me, that was brilliant, because I thought if I could help scale this system, bring it to the West, then it has the potential to change the world, right? No more mass manufacturing. Like this. So who here actually wants to buy a pair of pink knockoff Crocs? Raise your hand. Come on now, we're not here to judge. No one. Which still means there may be 20% of people who want it, they just don't raise their hands. So, come on, why was this even made? It's such a waste. Do you know what Crocs are made from? It's grinded up unicorn meat. That's why it's so soft. And when you kill a unicorn, that's pure evil. And that's the kind of thing you're left with, right? This is a river in China. It's pollution. You're wasting resources, you're polluting the earth. So while we are enjoying the nice and comfort living of, just buying cheap things from Walmart, on the other side of the world, in this case, in this side of the world, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, these are the pictures from the local places where, the factories of these big corporations, they just don't care. So we care about the people, we care about the environment, but there's so little we can do because, it's big corporations. So when Kohei told me, hey, why don't you make an open source version of Kuso? I was like, yes! Really, really excited about it. So the interesting thing I found was I walk out, basically I just went out every night, go to social events and pitch my idea of a really broad vision of, a Kuso system that is open innovations. And the interesting thing was, people responded to it, and they responded to it with their personal take of how they could use the system, right? So for example, TEDx Tokyo, they listened and they were, oh, wow, this is great. Perhaps I can use this for my speakers, which, they have great ideas to connect with other speakers, and they can post up their ideas and work with, the audience and really put their ideas into action, right? That's something that really excited TEDx in Tokyo. Another friend of mine works at an IB school, and he said, well, actually what you described, that sounds like an IB system. Students can suggest project ideas, and they will form groups and work on it and keep track of it. That can be our system. I want to help out. And of course, for Kuso, we're a product-centric use of that. And then another person thought, hey, this could actually be a local government tool where local residents can post up, maybe your local issues, and then the government will know how to spend the money on because they can see which problem is the biggest. So I met a lot of good friends who really got behind the idea of producing this open innovation system. And this is when I was actually away for a whole month, and they continued to work on it. So that was really something for me. However, in the end, it still failed. And I found that that was because even though we have a really broad vision and people supporting it, at the end of the day, you need focus, you need a corporate buy-in, you need a real-world example. So at that point, if you ask me, what have I learned? Then I'm going to tell you, you have to start out with a passionate vision. It can't be just about you. People will not work for you. But if you are doing something for everyone, then people will find their own take, their own use case of your idea. And with openness, you allow other people to join you and change your idea, because it can't be about, once again, it can't be just about you. When people join, they will modify and change your idea, and you will be surprised by it. And then finally, you need a small focus. Once you found that group of people, and you have that passion to work, together you have that passion to work toward this problem, then you need to find a small focus and just execute. Concentrate on making the first real example, which brings me to Makeable. So Makeable is basically, so when I went out to pitch about this open innovation system, one of the guys I talked to was a local, well, not a local, he's American, but he lives here in Hong Kong, who is involved in manufacturing. So I knew him from before. I know he can make things. So I went and talked to him and I said, look, I've got this open innovation system, and Kuso has, a long history of working with designers who, they have a big community. So if I can help make this platform where anyone can suggest and, post up ideas, and Kuso can source it, then at the end of the day, we still need to get it made, right? So if you can open a company here in Hong Kong that receive those sources and get it made in China, then we can close the whole ecosystem. So I'm still thinking about, the anti-mass manufacturing, just rapid prototyping, making that perfect product for 1,000 people. So I was really passionate about doing this. So when my friend in the middle of last year called me and asked, hey, so the thing that you suggested, the thing that you told me, are you still interested in it? Because I've been concentrating on the Lego Kuso project, and the Open Hippo project was sort of in limbo mode. So when my friend said that and asked me if I wanted to come and join him, I said, yeah, okay, let's do this. Unfortunately, I made a really big mistake of not listening to myself, or not really understanding lean startup. So I was really happy that finally I got the resources to do what I wanted to do in my head. So I went into working mode and shut myself in an office for 5 months and just working on the web tool website. Oh, this is going to be great. People can submit their ideas, and then people can fund and support it. And then we're going to make it for you. Oh, people are going to love us. But I didn't actually talk to any people. So when we released it, we were like, hey, where's everybody? We're here. We opened. Come on, we're pretty cool. We can make stuff for you. Oh, it was a pain. So, and I just remember, the whole lean startup thing. And of course, when your product doesn't work, what do? Oh, it must be because you don't have enough features for people, right? Let's put in more features. So I did that again, and still nobody came, right? So build it and they will come. Not true. Build it, they won't come. So when you ask me, what are the driving forces for collaborative innovations now? I would say definitely not just provide the tool. Don't do that, okay? It's You got to find the people first, All of that passion thing, it's still true from the previous Open Hippo, but you got to find the people first. Which brings me to my current project, which is 100 Village. So I hope that all of you have watched these two videos from Sir Ken Robinson. One is RSA, called Changing Education Paradigm, and the other one is a TED Talk, which is, I think it's the most watched TED Talk of all times. It's Schools Kill Creativity. Great talks. Just one problem, I don't really agree with it, because I was really creative in school, My dogs destroyed my homework in like numerous creative ways. And I was also really good at just making fun of what the teachers throw at me. Here it is. This is not by me, but I did something like that. I like this one. The teacher is like, noob? What's noob? It's not even a word. Okay, maybe you guys are too old. But honestly, when I went through school, my biggest question of the time was, why am I learning this? Why do I have to learn this? And as bad as it was for me, I really fear for the newer generations coming after me, the kids these days, because I think they're facing a really grim future. At P.F. Chang's. Why P.F. Chang's? So I was in South by Southwest in March, and I missed my American Chinese food, so a friend of mine, we went to P.F. Chang's, and we chatted with the waitress there, right? And it turns out she was a civil engineer. And her friend, who's also waiting table, she's a master of psychology. Both of them have to wait tables at 2 different restaurants just to, get by. And I just thought, wow, there's something wrong about this system we're living in. And these are like middle-class white girls, okay? Normal people. I'm not even talking about the low income, the minorities, or the indigenous. Those people, for them, the system has never been, designed for them. They've been marginalized since forever, right? There's so little chance for those people to succeed in the system. And to be honest, the system itself, it's breaking at its seams. So how do I propose? What do I think? What's going to save it? So just a few weeks ago, actually, there was a broadcast on NPR, National Public Radio. It's an economic program, interestingly enough. And the title of it was, Kindergarten Can Save the World. So it turns out there has been a lot of research that has been done on early childhood education, that the skills, the soft skills that little kids learn can actually make a huge difference in their later lives. But the biggest problem I can see is that nowadays the education system is just going lower and lower, earlier and earlier. They're starting them young, teaching little kids things that they shouldn't be learning when they should be just playing, right? So little children, they have the sparks in their eyes when they play and discover something. It's natural for them. But schools systematically stamp that out. So what drove me was because I have a kid, and I'm really concerned about that education system ruining him. So I did research, I read up, and I found this really wonderful approach called Reggio Emilia, right? Letting kids discover and construct their own knowledge. So what I do is I just opened my home, and I let other parents to come and join me and do a grassroots REA-inspired playgroups. Just bring your kids and just let them play. Sit back, provide some seeds of knowledge and discovery in the environment where they can just freely roam. And yeah, hands off. Let them learn by themselves. This is a quote I take from the creator of Reggio Emilia approach, Louis Malaguzzi, the 100 languages of children. So a child is made of 100, but we adults, we steal 99. We always tell them there's only one right answer. So if you ask me, what do I know about collaborative innovations? I would say it's not like I want to work in collaborative innovation. It's not like, oh, I'm interested in user innovation, that's why I'm working in this field. it's because there's something else behind me that's pushing me. And for me, I found out it's about social issues, injustice, environmental issues. These are the things that drove me to do what I do. And as it turns out, naturally, I want to work with the people and start things from the ground up, grassroots movements to change, to challenge the status quo. So that's why I'm doing a lot of collaborative innovations. So know what drives you, and then just keep trying. Just keep at it, keep doing it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Nicholas. So, does anybody have any questions for Nicholas? Speaking of participation, so Nicholas, when you go about your new project, do you think that when getting people engaged, is it important to have a very narrow field, or can the engagement be broad, and do you think that people in the future will engage in 5 to 10 different things, or will they only be able to engage in one thing deeply?
So when you say engage in 5 to 10 different things, is it all from? It's like I'm throwing 5 to 10 things out, and you're interested in all 5, or?
Yeah, I wonder do you think that people will engage in like one single thing, or will we be able to engage in like saving the world, getting rid of poverty, getting the environment
things
done?
Right.
So all of us are going to save the world in every way, or are we going to focus on one thing each?
I think naturally people are hopefully interested in multiple things, right? We have our concerns about different, areas. So yeah, you can be interested in multiple things, but at the same time, the focus is very important. So I've just learned that you have so little time. 24 hours a day. There's only so much you can do. So having that focus of or also it comes to the chances, right? So by serendipity, you are connected with this person, this group of people who are doing great things, and you get connected. So that human connection has a lot to do with it. Okay, so this is one of the topics that I'm really interested in, and I get connected with these people. So now I'm dedicating my time to do this. So, but I think most people are interested in many things. It's just serendipity.
Okay, so the answer is yes, but if we're going to build a platform, focus on one thing. People are interested in many things, but if we're going to build a focus to engage people, focus on one thing.
Definitely.
Cool. Did that spur any questions? Yes, great.
You said that the most important thing was to find people. So how do you find people?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's why I failed. But I think a good example would be Threadless. So the founder, co-founder of Threadless, Jake Nickel, I think. So he started Threadless, but before he started Threadless, he was actually already in a community of designers, graphic designers. So he was already tapped into a community of people. So when he makes something like Threadless, he already saw the need of, I know these people and there's a need here. So I'm going to create something to satisfy that need. So if you go coming from inside out going, I have this idea, I think I'm going to create this thing that will benefit those people, and then you go and build that thing, most likely you're going to fail because you don't know those people, right? If you're passionate about something, go connect with that community first. Go to Facebook, go to whatever, Twitter, find those people, and then work with them to actually see what are the problems that they're facing, and then from there, build your solution.
Great, and that's actually, thank you, Nicholas.